What up guys, Alex here, GuitarForce.com. So as you can see today we're going to take a look at a song called Blue by Nirvana off of their first record Bleach. And this was requested and supported by Aaron, so big thanks goes out to him. This is a pretty straightforward song, nothing too complicated. And I think it's great for beginners and also obviously the true Nirvana fans. So we're going to break down all of the parts in this lesson. The tops and the backing track are going to be available at GuitarForce.com. The link is going to be in the description box down below. For the sound I was using the VST plugin Guitar Rig, and I'm going to show you the picture of the preset. And plus I was using a little bit of overdrive by the OCD by Full Tone to give it a little bit more kind of stoner rock sound. The tuning for this song is going to be, it's like a dropped D tuning, but with all the strings tuned down the whole step. So it's technically in C dropped tuning. So all of the strings were tuned down the whole step, plus the low E, another step. And while you're checking out the picture of the preset that I was using for the sound, I'm going to play you my low E, which is the C technically, so you can tune up and play along with this lesson. Alright guys, also another thing, I'm going to post the link in the description box down below to the cover of this song. So if you're interested, please check it out. Without further ado, let's go for the close-up and start the lesson. Alright, so we're going to break up this lesson into sections and riffs. And the first part, the intro, goes like this. Okay, so the song starts off with a bass line. So it's played for 4 times and then the whole band kicks in and the guitar part starts off. Now usually Kurt would step on the distortion and that would give him a kind of feedback of the guitar and also sometimes from the mic. But because I cannot do it here, you need a loud volume and I just emulated that on the guitar. So by picking the 12th fret on the high E string, you get this that note high pitch. Sometimes it can go even an octave higher, but like I said, because of the mic feedback or just the distortion guitar feeding back like that, you can emulate that as well by playing the 12th fret on the high E string. And then we have a slide out. And then we go into the riff itself. So the riff starts off with the open strings. Now, because of the tuning, we're going to be using power chords, and because of the tuning, we can use just fretting on 1 fret, or when we play open strings, we get the chord. So the lower first 2 or 3 strings gives us the power chord. So we start off with the open strings, then we go into the 3rd fret to the 5th, so we play on the 5th fret, then we slide into the 6th, then we pick it again back to the 5th fret, 2 times on the 3rd fret, open strings, and then we have 2 slides into the 5th fret, like that. So slowly. Then we play the same riff, but now instead of playing a quarter note, we play 2 eighth notes on the open strings. It's exactly the same riff, but just slightly different rhythmically. So we have like that. So all together, one more time. After that riff, we go into the verse, and the guitar part goes like this. Okay, so I'm gonna just play these two riffs because the whole verse consists of these two riffs with the slight variations here and there. So what we have, again, we play the open strings, the D chord, the C technically speaking, and then we go into this melody line that we play on the guitar, which is exactly the same as Kurt is singing. So it's the vocal guitar melodies are played at the same pitch. So starts off with the open strings, then we play open D string, and now we're going to be playing that melody line on that one string. So it starts off with the open string, then we go 3-5, then we do the bend here. As you bend up the string, you hit it again, bring it down. As you bring it down, then you have, so it's 5-3, back to the 5, picking it one more time, back to the 3rd fret, adding some vibrato. One more time. And then the next part is going to be, so here what we do, we have a quick slide from the 5th fret down to the 3rd, back to the 5th again, picking that note, and then we have the chord. So it looks like this. This is a G7 chord. So it looks like that, and then it's followed by the open lower strings. So one more time, the whole phrase is going to be like this. And then we repeat it one more time with the slide. So we have two of these. Now, a slight variation when playing this chord. You can hear that chord, the G7 played like that when Kurt was playing in Bleach, the studio album, and also in earlier versions when he was playing during lives. But what I've heard the later years, he would play a slightly different chord here. So, I mean, it's not a big difference, not a big variation here, but nonetheless, instead of playing that chord, he would just leave out the B string open, and he would just play like that. So it's gonna be, okay, so he would still fret these two notes, and then just add the higher strings, the high E and the B strings open. Like that. So, you know, I'm giving you a variation. You can use whichever chord, you know, you like most. So one more time, the whole phrase is going to be like this. Then we do the same riff, exactly the same thing. So we have, and now the last note, instead of staying here on the 3rd fret of the D string, he would play the open D string. So it's going to be, okay, and then we do the rest. So that's the two variations that we play during the verses. Alright, so we play these two alternate riffs during the verses, and then we go into the next section, which is the chorus, and it goes like this. Okay, so here just primarily going to be playing between 3rd and 5th fret, also open strings and 6th fret, and it's all based on the same riff, which is repeated for 3 times. The first 2 times is exactly the same. So it starts off with the 3rd fret going to the 5th, the power chords. Then we have a little rest. Then we have, so it's 5th fret 2 times going to the 3rd fret, open strings, then back to the 3rd fret 2 times, and up to the 5th fret again. So so far we got this. Then we have, so it's again 5th fret 2 times, 3rd fret, and then we slide up to the 6th fret. And that's the whole riff. So slowly, the whole riff goes like this. Now, during the stops, when there is a stop, I mean, you don't have to stop the motion of the right hand. You can play kind of dead strings in between, so there is no stop in music. So something like that. If you want to, you can play the stops, obviously. So we play this riff for 2 times, and then the 3rd time we have. So as you play, so again we have 3, 5, then the rest, then again 2 times 5th fret back to the 3rd, open, 2 times 3rd fret to the 5th, and then from the 5th fret, instead of going to the 3, 5, 6, we go 5, 3, 4, and you let ring out, you stay on this chord for a little bit longer, and then the last chord is going to be the A. Now, I've seen some transcriptions that go into the 7th fret, which is totally fine. You can do that, so slide, it's the same chord, but what I've noticed is Kurt, he likes using open chords a lot, so he would play the A chord here. And then we have a build-up kind of playing in 8th notes on that chord. Nothing wrong, you know, like I said, going to the 7th fret here and just playing. You know, you can do that, but what I've noticed, like I said, you know, Kurt, he would use a lot of times the A chord here. Okay, so one more time, the whole section slowly is going to be like this. Alright, so after the first chorus we go back to playing the second verse, which is exactly the same thing as we've covered before, with the melody line which is following the vocal lines. And after that we have the second chorus, which is exactly the same as the first one. And then after that we go into the solo section. So now the solo, I've taken it from the live version, which is played in Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, and it's you know, when it comes down to the solos, Nirvana, you know, Kurt, he wasn't playing a lot of solos which makes sense. You know, it's just a bunch of noise and some notes, but this one kind of had a little bit of a meaning to the solo, so I've transcribed that. And just keep in mind that this is approximate. I mean, it's not like note for note, because, you know, of the same reasons what I said. It's just all over the place, and Kurt is playing some wrong notes, you know, open strings and things like that. But you know, I hope you get the essence of that. And we're gonna break it down into sort of sections and phrases. So it starts off with. You know, just going to the 12th fret on a G string and playing that note, picking it a few times, adding some white vibrato, and then we have a few bends. And then back again to the vibrato here on the same notes. Then we have two times 10th fret on the D string, hammering onto the 12th fret. Then again onto the G string we have 10 to 12, and then we have just some open strings here, D, G, and B, something like that. Then we have this line, which is starting off from the 12th fret on the G string, picking it two times, sliding up to the 14th fret, picking it again, sliding up to the 17th. And then the last note is going to be on the 19th fret. We pick it a few times. Then we go into the bends on the 20th fret of the B string. And here just adding some vibrato bends up and things like that. And then Kurt is doing something, just playing random rhythmical figures here and using this double stop. So it's going to be 19 on G, 20 on the B strings. And then he does something, so he uses also, just going crazy open strings and things like that, bands and bump notes here and there. And then he just, tremolo picks the strings and bends up gradually and then brings down. And then we have so again, it's in the same kind of style that he does. So again, tremolo picking, this double stop, and from here we go down 2 frets. So it's going to be 17 and 18. Then 1 fret down, 16, 17. So then we go down 2 more frets here, and he kind of plays it not in the scale, obviously, just dragging these double stop across the strings, across the fretboard. I'm sorry. So you will see in the tablature as well the frets that I'm playing. So generally speaking, it's something like this. So here we have 14 and 15, 12, 13, then going down to 9 and 10, 7 and 8, 5 and 6, 4 and 5, down to the 2nd and 3rd frets. So something along the lines like that. Then we have, so this line, so we go 2nd fret to the open on G, then we have 3, 2 open on the D string, and then 3rd fret to the open on the A string, like that. To the third fret on the A string, then the next line, so it's open 3rd to the 5th on the A, and then we go to the G string, we play 5, 7, 9. So far we got this, and then we continue. So we have 7, 9 to 10, then we have 9, 10, 12, and then 10, 12, and then we bend up the string and add some vibrato. I'm gonna play through the whole solo kind of slower. Now again, just keep in mind that this is an approximate solo, note for note, and you know, you want to get the feel of the whole solo. So I'm gonna play it through kind of slower. It goes like this. Alright, so after the solo section we go back to playing the chorus, which is that part. So it's exactly the same as previously, and then we go into the outro part, which goes like this. So here we start off with open strings, and it starts off on the off beat. And then we go 3-5, so 3-5, then sliding into the 6th fret, picking it a few times, and then we slide out, and that's how we repeat this riff. Like that. So we do it for a few times, and then in the end, the last chord that Kurt finishes off, it's just the open string, so the D, the C technically. And that's how we end the song. Alright guys, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. Hope you liked it, and if you did like, please give it a thumbs up. Also comment, share, subscribe if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to visit GuitarForce.com for more guitar related stuff. In the meantime, I'll see you again. Take it easy, and as always, let the force be with you.